Welcome back to another video about weight loss and health. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about the one thing that either helps or hinders your progress. There's absolutely no in between. In fact, this is so important that world-class athletes and highly successful people immerse themselves into it. So what are we talking about? We're talking about your environment. So let me explain why it's crucial that you improve yours. Every single person on this planet has a limited amount of mental resources. And by mental resources, I'm referring to things like making choices, making decisions, and your motivation and willpower. Now, when you run out of mental resources and they slowly get taken away from you during the day, you just succumb to your environment. Your environment now has the power over you and it determines your results. And that's why this is so crucial. So let me give you an example to illustrate. If you wake up and you've had a sleep, and the kids are annoying you, and then you have to go to work, and work's really busy, your worst customer comes in, and you're really stressed, when you get home, you're just going to be reaching for the alcohol and the chocolate, and you're just going to want a quick, crappy meal. Alright, but if you wake up and you've had an amazing sleep, the kids aren't annoying you, you go to work, it's cruisy as, you have a good day, you come home, it's a lot easier to cook yourself a healthy meal. And that's the importance of it. Also, the other factor to consider is you've only got a limited amount of mental resources, so you don't want to be wasting it on saying no all the time, wasting it on temptation. You want to be putting it into things like building new habits, exercising, being more productive at work, being a better parent. And that's exactly why athletes do it, so they can put their mental resources into improving their performance and becoming the best they can be. They don't want to have to waste their time and energy saying no to things. So in this video, I'm going to teach you some strategies you can start using straight away to improve your environment so you can put your mental resources where they need to be. Let's go! So I'm going to group these strategies into categories, with the first one being people. Now this is a bit of a touchy subject because we like people in our life. We like friends to hang out with. We like people to do things with. We want to be connected. In fact, it's deep within us that we need to be connected to others. If you think about it, isolation in prison, that is punishment. Right? Not being connected to people is punishment. And there's this thing called FOMO, fear of missing out, and it's entirely true. We have a need to be part of the tribe. So even though this is a bit touchy, I need you to open your mind, because people in your environment can influence you. They can make the choices for you. They can choose for you. If you're sitting on the edge of a knife and you're going, should I eat healthy? Shouldn't I eat healthy? It takes one person to come in and go, don't worry about eating healthy. Let's go have some wine. Let's go have some cheese. Let's have some crackers. You deserve it. You can start again tomorrow. It's okay. It's just one meal, right? And then they do that 3 or 4 times a week. We've all got that friend, don't we? Or we can have that one person that comes in when you're sitting on the edge of the knife and go, hey, you're doing really well. Don't give up now. Let's go have a healthy meal. I've got this low-calorie alcohol here. We can have a glass of that. Don't worry about it. Let's go. You've got this. Okay? And that's how important people are. Think of it like this. You have a partner, right? And you come home. They know you want to lose weight. And every night they're eating takeaways. Every night they're eating Macca's or KFC. And you've got to eat your food. That's just going to make it really hard. So the people in your life need to know, they need to be on board, they need to be supporting you, so you need to tell them, and if they're not helping, you need to be more stern with them, and if they're still not helping, then you may need to spend less time with them. And one bonus tip I'll give you, if you start hanging out with people who are the way you want to be, so they're fit and healthy, then you'll just naturally start picking up their habits and become them. So try and get some more people in your inner circle that are where you want to be. Okay, so the second strategy, the second category we're going to talk about is mindset. So mindset is really, really important, a major component of what I do, because it determines your actions and behaviors, and your actions and behaviors determine the outcome or the results. So let's talk about ways to keep focused, ways to keep disciplined, and ways to keep on track instead of falling off the wagon. Now, the biggest thing with mindset is you need to be putting things in your environment to keep you focused, to remind you what the goal is. Most people get lost in the day-to-day actions and they forget they want to lose weight. They forget why it's so important. So if we can put reminders, and I'm going to give you some examples of some, in our environment, then we're going to be a lot more likely to stay on course, because it's going to be front of mind and we're going to be focusing on it more often. So one thing you could do is take those old jeans you no longer fit, put them on your wall in your bedroom. So whenever you see them, you remember, okay, I need to fit my own jeans. Another thing you can do is put post-it notes in places that you're always looking at, like the mirror or on your desktop computer, and we post-it note just saying what your goals are. I want to lose 20 kgs because my kids are important to me, for example. Another thing you need to do is go to places that you go to often, so like the fridge or the pantry that has food in it, and put reminders on there, or put your meal plan on there, or put down a list of ideas of food you can eat before you even open the fridge or open the pantry. Because a lot of people just go straight to the fridge or pantry without even thinking, open the door, and then start thinking about what to eat. Then they start looking for the foods, right? And the sweetest, tastiest thing just jumps out at them. But if you have a list on your fridge or your pantry, then you'll look at that and go, you know, for me it might be keto, have an apple because your health is important to you. So I read that and open the fridge and my brain's already programmed to grab an apple. So things like that. Other things you could do is have a vision board some people use. Other things you could do is have your goals written down somewhere. Like I've heard of people that carry their goals around in their wallet, kind of like a business card, and whenever they open their wallet, they pull it out and they have a quick read of it. So you can do whatever it is you need to do, but you need to be putting things in your environment to keep you focused, to keep you on track, and to keep you disciplined. One thing I do is I visualize every morning. I visualize my day and the things I'm going to do in my day, which pre-programs my brain so I'm focused on those things. Other thing I do is I use my driving time, because what else am I going to do, to listen to podcasts and motivational speakers. Alright, so it's about setting up your environment to keep your brain on track, to remind yourself about your goals and why they're important to you. Okay, the next category we're going to talk about is food. Now there's a saying I'm going to give you that I want you to implant into your memory, and it goes like this. Make the things you need to do easy to do and front of mind, meaning that you can see it, it's obvious to you, it stands out. And make the things that are going to hinder you hard to do and out of mind. So that's what you want to be thinking of, like when it comes to your food. For example, if you come home and there's chocolate sitting on the bench and it's the first thing you see, you're probably going to have it, or at least you're going to start thinking about chocolate. However, if you come home and there's a low calorie, high protein, tasty protein bar on the bench, then you're probably going to eat that or start thinking about that. Same with when you open the door to your fridge or your pantry. If all you can see is crappy food, then you're going to grab the crappy food. But if there's no crappy food in there and there's only healthy food that you enjoy eating, then you're going to grab that. Okay, so see how we're making it easier to do. One of the biggest tips I give people, and I'm going to tell you the excuse they give me, which you're going to as well, is keep that type of food that's going to hinder your progress out of the house. And your excuse is, well, I can't because my kids eat it or my husband eat it. You know what? You eat it. That's what's going on here. The amount of mothers that say to me, oh, my kids eat it, then why are you eating it? Right? You're stealing your kids' food. So here's ways around that. One, do you want your kids to eat healthy? Do they actually have to have it? And do they have to have it in the house? Or can you get it from somewhere else for them? And two, put it somewhere where it's hard to get to and you just don't see it, and someone has to remind you. Your kids have to go, hey mum, you've forgotten my wee bag of chips. And you're like, oh yeah, sorry, totally forgot. Right? That's how hard it has to be to get. So that's your way around that. The other thing you want to do in your environment for your food is you want to have meals that are quick and easy to make, or better yet, already made, so you just have to reheat it, ready to go when your mental resources are tapped out. Okay, you need to have food ready to go for when your mental resources are tapped out. If they're not, you're always going to choose a different option, because deep at heart, we're lazy, I'm lazy, I always want to go for the easiest convenient option, and when your mental resources are gone, that's going to be takeaways. Right, so you need to have something. And these days you can get amazing, awesome frozen meals that taste really good and are really good for weight loss, or you can get those subscription services where they send you the food. So that's another thing you can do. But at the end of the day, you need to keep as much of it out of your environment as possible and fill your environment with healthy options, so that when it comes to the crunch, all you've really got is a healthy meal next to you. And if you've got nothing and you need to go to a shop, then choose a healthy shop. And when you get to the shop, choose the best option available. You can buy protein bars everywhere these days. You can buy fruit these days. You can buy sandwiches. Just make a better choice. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is water. This is what people just aren't doing, yet it's so simple. And the benefits of water are massive. It is literally a magical anti-aging elixir, all right? As long as you drink enough of it. And once you start drinking enough of it, and then you go back to drinking less, you'll notice the difference. And it's totally worth it. The benefits of water are more important than having to go for a pee. And having to go for a pee is good because it gets you up and moving anyway. So there's no detriment to it. Now, all you have to do is drink more water is 1, keep a water bottle near you that you can see at all times. Or 2, set reminders that remind you to drink water, and make sure when your reminder goes off, you frickin' well do it. In my case, I have a water cooler right over there looking at me, staring at me. It even makes these noises because it has to cool the water and it also heats the water. But it's always there. I can't not notice it. But you can also get water drinking apps. But the easiest way is to get a 1 litre bottle, drink 2 of them per day. And I know you can do that. All right, but it's really important to do it, so make sure you do. Okay, and the last category we're going to talk about is being active. This can actually be a difficult one, a complex one for some people, because there's a lot involved in being more active. So the way to do this is just set things up so it's easier. Okay, so let's say that you like walking or running, and you want to do more of it, but you just don't. You could put your walking shoes, your running shoes, your running clothes at the front door for when you get home. So when you get home, it's just sitting there, and all you got to do is put it on and go. Yes, it still requires a bit of willpower, but it's a hell of a lot easier than having to go find all that stuff. All right. Another thing you could do is drive past the place you like running or walking, or if it's going to the gym, every day on your way to and from work to remind you to do it, and keep all your stuff in the car so you can just stop, get changed, and go. Right? Another thing you can do is little wee things like park the car further away from work. Take the stairs instead of the escalator. It all adds up. And if you want to start going to the gym to do some resistance training to really turbo boost your weight loss results, choose the closest gym. Don't go to one that's miles away. And what we can also do with activity is we can combine it with the people one that we talked about earlier. Find yourself a bunch of people that want to go for walks. If you're a mother and you take your kids for a walk in a pram, join a mother's walking group. You know, go to a group class in a gym. Ask your friend who also wants to lose weight, hey, let's start walking together. All right? There's so many different ways to make it easier. You just got to make sure that you're prepared so that when you get home, you're pretty much ready to go. Okay, and the last category we're going to talk about, and this is really touchy subject, but it needs to be talked about, is your spouse. Is your partner. Now, they're either going to be helping you, which will make it a hell of a lot easier, or they'll be hindering you, which will make it a hell of a lot harder. There's not really in between. So you need to have a good conversation with them about your goals, about what you're trying to achieve and why it's important, and ask for their support. If they're not prepared to do that, well, then you need to ask them to not do the things that are going to pull you off course around you. Like if they don't want to jump on board and eat healthy with you, well, that's cool, but just ask them nicely, can you not eat the other sorts of food around me so you're not as tempted? And that discussion has to be had, because I've had so many times where mothers have fallen off, where my clients have fallen off because their spouse has been so detrimental to the results. They just made it too hard for them. So please, please, please have that conversation with them and convince them to support you. And even better, if they need to lose weight and get healthy, then get them on board. Get them on board. But at the very least, seek their support or ask them not to do the things around you that are going to tempt you away from the path. Alright, and that's it. Now please subscribe to this video if you want more free weight loss advice and guides and all that kind of stuff. You got nothing to lose except weight. They're free and I know you can do it. So let's go!